Chapter 3. I didn't know how long I had run or how deep I had gone into the jungle. I had been running scared, hollering, smashing into things, making a lot of noise. I hadn't stopped to consider the attention I might be drawing to myself. I'd read an article by Dr. Ian Malcolm, a scientist who'd been to this island. He said raptors and other meat-eating predators lived on the island, but their usual prey knew enough to be quiet. Not me. I finally forced myself to slow down, catch my breath, and take in my surroundings. I saw trees, vines, leaves, earth, and rocks, thick jungle in every direction. I heard movement in the brush. I didn't move. Maybe it was dinosaurs. Maybe not. This wasn't just part of Jurassic Park, it was also an island near Costa Rica. Ben had said there were 17 deadly snakes common in the jungles of Costa Rica. There were also tarantulas and bats and all sorts of other fun things waiting out there. I heard movement again, but this time the sound was farther away. Whatever it had been was retreating. That was good, so long as I was the thing it was retreating from. The bugs were biting, and I was starting to itch. Moths and butterflies fluttered nearby. Iguanas clung to branches. Frogs peeked out from leaves. I was lost. I didn't have any idea how to get back to the shore, or where I could go to find safety. Then another thought hit me. How was anyone going to find me? I remembered that in his article, Malcolm said Isla Sorna was only 22 square miles. It sounds like a lot, he wrote. But considering the number of animals living on the island, and the fact that they're multiplying, well, you do the math. Give it a few years, and the dinosaurs will be elbow to elbow. 22 square miles did sound like a lot. How could rescuers find one person, namely me, in all this? I had to do something. I had to make sure they would know where to look for me. I trudged on, and soon the light got more intense, like it did in late afternoon. The day was winding down, and soon night would be coming. I had been hiking a long time. My stomach growled. I was incredibly thirsty. Thump, thump, thump. For only a couple of seconds, my exhaustion had overcome my fear. Now the fear was back. Something was coming, not someone, and it was probably coming for me. I looked for some place to hide, but all I saw was the same thing everywhere. Trees, vines, earth, rocks. I looked up and saw the sun low and intense through the leaves. Thump, thump, thump. I heard a skittering, a shriek. Something small, maybe my size, was moving fast and heading my way. I jumped and grabbed a heavy branch, then started climbing. I got to the highest branch that could hold me and curled up, watching the ground below. I didn't see what had been running toward me. Either it had gone another way, or it had run right past while I'd been climbing. Thump, thump, thump. The tree shook. Leaves fell onto my face, making me jump. Then nothing. Whatever it was had stopped somewhere close. I couldn't go back down without risking running right into it. I looked up. I wasn't high enough to see over the canopy of branches and get a sense of where I had ended up. So I had a choice. Stay put in the trees where it was safe, where whatever that big thing was couldn't get me, or take a risk and try to cover more ground. Maybe I'd find food and water. Maybe I'd get eaten. I knew what my dad would do. I knew what Ben would do. I started thinking that my dad might have had his reasons for playing things safe. A butterfly landed near my hand. It had black wings with yellow streaks that looked like bones, and two little red dots that might have been burning eyes in the center of a skull. It was a heliconia butterfly. I didn't take its appearance as a good omen. A sound came from below me and I tensed. Sprinting across a branch was a two-toed sloth. It moved so quickly it looked like it was surfing. With only a slight hiss to mark its passing, it was gone. The dinosaurs hadn't wiped out the island's animal population. If sloths lived here, then monkeys might too. Whatever they ate, I could probably eat. The skull-faced butterfly sat nearby. Another sloth raced across the branch below. I jumped down to the branch and followed it. "It's okay, Eric," said a voice in my head as I moved from tree to tree. "Just be careful. Be careful." The voice wasn't threatening or frightening or anything. It was just firm and familiar, and it made me feel better. It was Dad's voice. Without leaving the safety of the trees, I was able to move across the jungle. Pretty soon, I was far enough away from whatever had been making those thumps to start relaxing a little. As the sun set, I caught up with a pair of sloths. Weird-looking things. Kind of a cross between a monkey and a possum. The two sloths were chowing down on bananas. I stopped and really looked at the tree I had come to. It was a banana tree. Heavy bunches of bananas hung from its branches. I greedily snatched a couple of ripe ones and started eating with shaky hands. In the past few weeks, Ben's platinum visa had allowed my mom and me to try expensive delicacies from 3 different countries. Not one tasted as good as this. Not one. I stuffed myself, then curled up, thankful that some group of carnivores hadn't come along, thankful that it was just me and the sloths. Night came and I got sleepy listening to a frog serenade. I was still scared, but I told myself it was just a matter of time. Any hour I expected to hear the whirring of helicopter blades and the sounds of people shouting into bullhorns. Rescue would come. Surely my mom would send for help. The night grew darker, and I forced myself to stay awake. terrified that I'd be asleep, and the rescuers would walk right by and never find me. "They're coming," I whispered, hugging myself. "They have to come." But what if, for whatever reason, it took another day, or another couple of days? Grant, Malcolm, all the others, they'd been rescued after a matter of hours, not days. How was I supposed to survive? I didn't have any weapons or any supplies. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't stand a chance. A terrible thought struck me so hard that for a few seconds I could barely breathe. Was that why they hadn't come? Did they think I was already dead? "I'm here!" I screamed into the night. I heard my voice echo into the darkness. "Help me! I'm here! Please!" I screamed until my throat was raw, but there was no answer that night. No sound of rescue. My voice simply joined the chilling chorus of grunts and squawks and eerie ancient cries that hadn't been heard on this earth for 65 million years. Too exhausted to be afraid anymore, I curled up against the branches and finally closed my eyes.